Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film. This is 1989's MINDFIELD. Ah, yes. And Michael Ironside. Anyways, I have some notes here, so you're going to see my eyes divert. Let's get into this 1989 film, Mindside. Well, we have a couple things going on here in this fascinating film to me. Like, this movie just gave me an experience in a world that I wanted so badly. And let's look at some of these. Like, remember as I talk about this film that this is from 1989. So if I'm talking right now in 2026, this was pretty ahead of its time. We have the themes of amnesia, the CIA, MK Ultra, mind experimentation, divorce, a father's death, trauma, counseling, the craziest tall restaurant I've ever seen. Now, I believe this film is from Montreal or Quebec, but it's definitely Canadian. So this must be, I wonder if this particular establishment is still in Canada, because to get to the top of this restaurant is like some insane elevator ride, like that looks like you're in the afterlife. I mean, it's terrifying. It goes well beyond those types of things like in Pittsburgh, where I forget what you call them, like a kind of like a trolley held by a cord. I'm blanking right now, but there's a scene in you know what? I'm blanking right now. There's a Sylvester Stallone film from the early '80s when they're in that, and there's a terrorist in there. Anyways, but it's terrifying. It's like you're going up on your back almost. It's like sci-fi. It's crazy, and it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant. This is Toronto, I believe. So you know what? It's actually, it looks like it's Toronto, but it's Toronto during around Christmas time, which I was not aware of. We have eye gouging in here, mysterious deals. Michael Ironside. Let me tell you, Michael Ironside, his presence alone is amazing. He's perfect for this film. He's perfect. He's in Scanners, right? He's perfect in Cronenberg Scanners. But you know what? I kind of think this might be the most perfect role of his that I've seen. And he has such a huge role in this film. I mean, he is the movie. He has a presence that's dangerous, that's authentic, that's real, that's aggressive, that's rough and tumble and rough around the edges, and just like a real life, a real person, complex, faults and all, warts and all. And he's scary as hell. We have robbery in here. We have shootings in here. Lots of shootouts. Lots of intensity. Police. Our pasts. A sex shop. Yes, even the back rooms of a sex shop. Conspiracy theories. A blow-up doll in a safe. A mysterious key. The tense vignettes of our lives. As you watch the characters, as you watch the edits and the scenes changing, it reminds you of your own life, how tense life can be. The tense vignettes of our lives, definitely represented in this film. The theme of a blank slate. What is the benefit of a blank slate? Why do we strive for a blank slate? Sometimes we want the blank slate in terms of forgiveness, but sometimes we want the blank slate just because everything is such a mess that we want to start over again. But what about the blank slate of getting rid of the stuff in our heads and starting over again? LSD experimentation, the urge to kill, government control and methods. I have to tell you something. At the beginning of the movie, there was this statement that you normally see in the closing credits about this being a work of fiction. And then right after that, there's a real quote from the New York Times, like in the late 70s, about like CIA mind control. And that was like such a sucker punch and just a what the F at the beginning of this movie. Like a work of fiction and then a real quote about real things, real possibilities, real things, real research. What? Left versus right-wing politics are in this film. The mafia are in this film. Friendship and romantic tension and loss. You know, just like the tense vignettes of our lives, we also have the tension of friendship, the tension of romance, and the tension of romantic loss. Here's something here that I saw a repeated line and theme in the film The Mob, which I looked at on this YouTube page. And that was a Canadian film also. Interesting. Ready? It said, in this film, it says, taking a life, killing someone. So taking a life or altering someone's mind. So taking someone's life or altering their mind. In this movie, it says the wars in the future won't be taking people's lives. It will be altering their thinking. Now, this is 1989, and here we are in 2026 with artificial intelligence. Think about that one more time there. That taking someone's life is not efficient battle. It's not efficient war. There's not an efficient resolution. You must take their minds in order to win. What does this tell you about the power of our minds? You think of psychosomatic situations. Yes, we have physical issues. How many of our physical issues are caused by our brains? But even in the case of genetics, and even if you have physical issues despite your brain, how many times do our brains exacerbate our physical issues? You know, I know people who pass out at the sight of blood. That's not physical. It's your brain connected to your body. There are people who can smell a dead body who work in morgues, no problem. Other people immediately vomit. You ever see in like a lot of horror films and in your own life, you get a call that somebody died, or you walk in on somebody's death, and you immediately vomit. Does the truth cause pain? Does the truth cause pain? Does it cause psychological pain? Does it cause physical pain? And if it causes pain, should we avoid it and live in ignorance as bliss instead? But if you live in ignorance as bliss and you take away the pain, will it just result in ultimate death or destruction? Some of the themes of MINDFIELD. A mysterious film canister. Wow. The atmosphere of turning all the power off. Snow. Yes, this is a cold looking movie, and snow is utilized in the film. Snow residue, not actually snow like heavy snowfall, just like piles of snow on the ground. And in one particular scene, somebody would have been dead if it were not for it. I really thought about the film The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind thematically in many areas of this movie. Musically, we have dark orchestra music and smoky atmospheric jazz. but it's mostly dark. It's all dark and atmospheric and cozy and unsettling at the same time, but cozy at the same time as well. And when I mentioned Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, I really meant it, because that particular film deals with the brain. It deals with memories. It deals with our lives. It deals with how our lives are connected to our brains. I'm starting to lose my voice. And the aspect of human relationships in that mix, and how much human relationships have to do with our brains and with our lives. This is 1989's Mind Field.